Good morning, this is Lucinda from Showbiz Software. Thank you very much for joining us for the fourth of our early adopter webinars. The subject of today's webinar is adding module orders. You should be able to see the PowerPoint presentation, so look, we'll just start by going through that. So first of all, if everyone could put their microphones and any phones on mute, basically just we've had feedback from the microphones and phones before, so if you can put yourselves on mute, that'd be perfect. If you have any questions, you can either type them at the end or type them throughout the webinar. If you could use a chat box you've got at the bottom of your GoToMeeting screen. If you type your questions in there, I can keep an eye on that and then go through them at the end. All the webinars are recorded, so I will send you out a link to that later on, so you can then view them if you need to. And then, yeah, anytime we run the webinars, we'll always record them, so if you can't attend, they're there ready for you. As I mentioned, today is the fourth of our 7 webinars, and it's regarding the adding module orders. Next week we've got understanding your accounts, managing your end users, and then you followed finishing off with the dashboards and reporting. If you'd like these, any other ones, just let us know. We can do some more webinars. If you want some help with different areas of the system, just let us know, and we're more than happy to do that. So, features and benefits of adding module orders. The shop, you can define your products and set the rules for your shopping process exactly as you need them. You can control what the customers see in the shop. You can always see the products, but the customers can't always see it. There's a date in the product setup, and that they will only be able to see them during those dates, which I can show you shortly. You can understand how the product process works, and then you can apply it for all your different areas, so it saves you a lot of time and effort. And we can go through the basket, so you can see which customers have got items in the basket, whether they're waiting for you to do something for them, whether it's something they need to do, whether they're ready to check out and they haven't finished off. You can then quickly communicate with your customers, saying, don't forget you've got this in your basket, please don't forget to process it, the deadline's coming up. So it just gives you an extra chance to communicate with your customers, give them a gentle reminder, and it just hopefully help your sales to add some more, because sometimes people are busy, they're off like lambing or whatever, so people do get distracted and they forget to finish, so it just gives them a gentle nudge just to finish their basket. And we're also going to show you global search, which allows you to add entries directly into a basket for a contact. So it's just a lot quicker and easier for you to use and to process the entries. It also gives you different areas. You can go and search for your trade stand, your sponsorship modules, and your portals and your everything like that. You can see that from the global search, but we'll go through that and I'll show you those. So let's have a look. Let me just change my screen. So the first screen I'm going to show you, this is the shop. So this is what your customers will see and what you will see when you're shopping on behalf of one of your customers. I know some people don't like to use the internet and they're not technologically able, so you can purchase on someone else's behalf if you need to. System set up so you can do it, either they can do it or you can do it on their behalf. So the first screen you get in the shop is where you see all the different modules that you have available for you. It depends. If you have certain modules that don't have anything under, you can hide them, or you can just expand them out so you can see the different modules. So if we have a look at the trade stands, so this will show you all of the different trade stands that are available. So you get your different levels. So you have your, like you say, your food marquee, and then you get your cooking trade stands, and then it gives you the different trade stands available to apply for. As you can see on the right hand side, everything just says apply. So this is an application process. The trade stands and sponsorships are an application process, so people have to apply. They can't just purchase and go straight through and buy a trade stand. It's an application process, so you are in full control of your trade stands and your sponsorships. So you can go and have a look, make sure the information is there before you can allow them to process and pay for the trade stand. So you've got the different ones here, so it's just apply. Customers will literally go in here, press apply, it will then add it to the basket. A message will come up here just to say that it's been added to the basket. At the top corner, you've got the name of the person you're shopping for. When they are a customer, they don't see this because they're just buying for themselves. Whereas if, as looking here as a show user, you can pick up the person you need to purchase for. So all you need to do is change it. So if you wanted to change it to Robert Sharp, you could just change it, and now you're shopping for Robert Sharp. If we just change that back to Rose. So here we are, we've got the basket for Rose. So you can see at the top right hand corner, she's got 2 items in the basket. So if we go and have a quick look at the basket, we can see that she's already got 2 items in her basket. She's got a sponsorship and she's also got a trade stand. One of the items says that it's ready, so that means she's ready to check out. She's answered all the information required. And the other one is waiting for user. So basically she hasn't added all the information needed or requirement. So it needs to be completed before she can then check out. So if we have a quick look at this trade stand application, we can edit it. And then you can see in here, you've got all the different areas, all the prices, the stand holder details. So this is where all the information you need to apply for a trade stand is shown. You've got the documentation, so they have to upload a insurance. So if they need first or public liability insurance, risk assessments, this is where they upload them from the system. You've also got the online directory, so you've got the information in here. You've got images, so if they want to upload images, so you can see the different cakes that they've got for sale, they can then put descriptions on for them. So when they're in the portals, you can then see them. So you've got, we can type in here, baby shower cupcakes, and you can put the descriptions that they need on here. So you can have Mother's Day cupcakes, and then you've got large chocolate cake. So you can they can put all the different information they want to have next door to the images online. You've also got the build up and breakdown. So this is the information where you go through and the people say, right, I'm going to come to the show and I want to build up my trade stand on a certain date. So if you want to do the 2nd of July, June 2019, and then I'm going to take it down on the 5th of June 2019, they can then have your stand builder. So whoever's going to come and help them build their stand. So this will allow you to see the contacts and the people, the contractors that you're using to help. And this also gives you a lot of information. You can then search for this information within Global Search, which I'll show you in a minute. And it just gives you a lot of information regarding the different people that are going to be on your site. So if you ever need to find information, you can quickly find it in here. So we just save that for the minute, and if they want to add any notes, they can add that to there. The next one down we've got is vehicles. So this is where they can add the vehicles. So you can select. So as you can see, we haven't got any vehicle types set up in here. So what we can do, we can go to the setup system or the setup screen. We can then go to the trade stands and we can add vehicle types. It's really quick and simple. You can then set up all the vehicle types you require for your show. So if we want a car, we can then create another one for lorry. So you can then save them in the system. You can go back to the trade stand. You just need to refresh it. then we should be able to find the vehicles. So if we say you've got a car, so bringing a Freighter 75 in, the registration, we can save that. So you know, you can have a list of all the vehicles that they're going to bring in to the site, and you can check when they come in if that vehicle isn't listed. You can say you haven't registered this vehicle, you can either turn them away or get them to update the details. So you've got a lot of information here quickly to hand, so you can quickly search for it. You can also say whether they've returned any forms. You can set these up as you need them. They can add notes to their stand. You've got the terms and conditions. This is your terms and conditions exactly as you need them. You can set them, they're set up within the system, you just add as a product and link this to your trade stand applications, so you can then make sure that they've agreed to them. If they don't agree, then when you check the application, it then says the terms and conditions aren't ticked or aren't accepted, so you can't proceed. So they have to be accepted before they can then proceed to the next stage. You can then allow them to create a class have an entry in the trade stand classes, so you can then add them into there, and then whether you publish them on the trade stand directory. So if we say we want to publish that. So finally, we'll do a check application, make sure that all the mandatory fields that have been completed, they have got all ticks, they can now submit their application. Up to the top right hand corner, the customers don't see this, but this is what the information you see. You've got the application actions. So this is where you can accept the trade stand, reject the trade stand, or you can request further information. So when you go through the system, you can have a look, say, right, okay, I think all the information has been provided. If you're happy with all the images, if you don't like the images, you can take them off. We can request further information, which will just send them a note saying, please. So you can have if you want to ask for more information, just type in here, send it off, and then they get a message saying they've got a request. They then go in, edit their application, resubmit it, and then you can have a look at it. Once you're happy, you can then accept it. So in this case, we've been through everything. We're happy with all the information we've got, so we can then accept the application. So this application has now been accepted. As you can see now back in the basket, the item is now ready because that information has all the items been accepted. You're happy with it, and they're now allowed to go through to the payment process to complete the purchase. Payment for your trade stand. You will see that the sponsorships are very similar application process. They haven't got all of the same requirements. We've got your stand holder information or your sponsorship holder information, any documentations you need, your online directory, any images, you upload the images, any notes, terms and conditions again, and then also whether to publish to the trade stand portal. It's very quick and easy. Once they've been accepted, they can have the option to cancel, which will then send you a message saying they want to cancel their sponsorship or their trade stand. And then that's up to you whether you accept it or whether you it depends on your terms and conditions as to whether you refund them or anything like that. So I was mentioning before the global search. So what you can do, if you've got a car registration number you need to find quickly, you can go to the global search. You can then type in the registration and then search it. This will then go through the system, and you can see straight away that the vehicle is on the Cakes by Rose trade stand. So you can then go and have a look at the information, find the contact number, and then phone them up. Whether the vehicle's in the incorrect place, you can phone them up saying your car needs to be moved to all that sort of stuff. So you can quickly go through the system and find the information you need regarding vehicles, supply health and safety and all that sort of stuff. You can also, through the global search, you can then have a look at the directory. So if you want to have a look at the directory, so this is the online directory you can see. So you've got the information, you've got the contact details for the trade stand. This is what your customers can see. So this is an additional perk for your trade stands. They've got all this information online, so they've got the images. People can go through and have a look at this before they go to the show and think, right, I want to go and buy a cake, so I need to go to Cakes by Rose. They can straight away have a look, find out where the stand is, and then they can add that to their list of things to do while they're at your show. So it gives you a bit more information, your customers, a lot more information as to who's going to be at your show, free of charge. It's all included in the cost of the system. You can also see the sponsorships and then the results as well. I will show you those in a moment. So what we can go back to do, we can go and have a look at go back to the shop. So we've added the trade stand to our basket. What you can also do, you've also got the option to set up your different options in the shop. So you've got your trade stands at the top, and then you've got, if you want to have the furniture for your trade stands, you can set them up as a different heading. So if you want to add a table, because there's a trade stand in the basket, the system will then ask you if you don't want to group it with a product in your basket, or you can group it. So the food stand that we've got in there, you want to group this item with it, you can. So when you go to in the basket, you can then see that the table has been added to that trade stand. So if your customer has several trade stands, they can then add their furniture or additional items to each trade stand they've got. And then you know exactly what trade stand has what furniture, and it's a lot easier for you to then, when you have to set up the trade stands and the plots, there it's already there for you. So if we go back to continue shopping, you can also see you've got the trade stand item. So if you want to set up something else for your, like electricity, water standpipe, anything like that, you can set them all up in here as well. So that'll add it to the basket, and then you can just process it that way. So it's quite simple and easy to use. Same with the sponsorships. You've got your price sponsorships. So these are the ones that are set up within the schedule. So you can set up the different class sponsorships you want to allow people to sponsor. Again, it's an application process, so they can't just buy them. Or if you want to, you can set them up so they can purchase them straight away. It's entirely up to you. You've also got the product sponsorships. So under here, you can just create certain areas. If you want, like car park sponsorship, main judging area sponsorship, president's rings, you can set them all up. But what I show you here, I mentioned earlier that within the product setup, you can show the dates that items are available. So in here, you've got the main, I think it's the main judging area is available. Whereas if we change screens, we're searching, this is how Rose Thomas would see it. She hasn't got the side modules. She's only got the availability to the shop. So we can go to the sponsorship products. We can then go to the product sponsors. We can see that all the items here that are available. However, if the main judging area, have a look, go to the products, go to the utilities, we can then go to the shop and manage products. So we can go to sponsorship and then product sponsorships. So you can see the main entrance gate is not showing up on Rose's shop. However, You can see that for yourselves on your, or as a show user, you can see that. So it depends if we can then change it, if you want to have a look. We can change the date of this. So if we change that to availability, say to 2019, just so you then, we can then go back to Rose's basket, refresh it. You can now see that that item is then available. So the customers can't see it, but your show staff can see it. So if we go back to the basket, show the different products. You can also set donations if you want to create donations. You can set all the different amounts if you want to, and you can then, people can then donate towards the show. A lot of our current customers have that on their website, and they're actually quite surprised at how many people do actually add a donation to their basket. It might be a few pounds, but even a few extra pounds always helps. So you can add that as very quickly. They can add it to the product and then they can go through and purchase it. What we can now do, we'll change the basket. So we'll go to, so if we change back to Robert Sharp, we can see he's got 2 items in his basket. We can see that he's got 2 entries. So if we go back to continue shopping, you can then see when you expand the entries, you can see this is very similar to your schedule. You've got your header, your section, and then your classes that are available to enter. It gives you all the information that you want to show. You can put as much or as little information in here as you want to. This is when you set up when we went through the schedule last week, this is the shop text. So you can put exactly the information you want to show here. It shows you they've got 3 sections, and that section's got 2 classes. That section's got, it shows you exactly the amount of availability of classes there. So we can go back and we can go back to the shop with the basket for Robert. You can see here one's ready to check out and the other one is waiting for the user, so they need to add some more information. We can then go through and complete the information. So the exhibitor is going to be Robert Sharp. And then the entry field, the mandatory entry field we've got for this one is date of birth, so 01 04 1/1945. You can then see down the bottom right corner, you can do check entry. It makes sure that all the mandatory fields are completed, which they now are, and then you can just save that. You go back to the basket, it now says it's ready, so you can then process that through the checkout. Within the basket, you've got the option to add additional items, so they're called basket rules. If you want to have first aid levies, anything like that, you can add them automatically to the basket. If your entries have to have like certain animals have to have a pen booked, you can also do that. So if you go and have a look at the product rules tab, in here, these are the different product rules we've got. So we can have a look at, say, exhibitor passes. So this is where you have a look, and it says that any item when an item, jersey, heifer, calf and first, or heifer and calf with first calf, if that's added to the basket, the system will automatically add an exhibitor pass to the basket as well. This will allow you, so you don't have to go and think, right, well, this person needs these tickets, this person needs these passes. You can set the system up so it automatically adds it to the basket. And then it just saves you a lot of time and effort later on. You've got different rules. You can either show them in the basket so your customer sees them, or you can hide them. So, for example, if you don't want them to see the exhibitor passes in the basket, you can just hide them. So you can literally hide from shop and basket. and then the customer doesn't see that, but you've got that information, and you can run a report under the pick pack post. That will give you all the information you need as to which customer needs what information sent out to them. So it'll save you time later on, and you can set them up exactly as you need them. So we can have a look at this one. So if we go back to the basket, we continue shopping, and then we go to entries, and then we go to this class. We can add that to the basket. The system then says the item has been added to the basket. And down the bottom you can see we've just added that to the basket. There's a first aid levy of £6. This cannot be taken out. The only time they can take it out of the basket is when they take the entry out as well. And it's also got the exhibitor pass. We didn't tick the fact that it was hidden so the customer can see it, but if you don't want that shown, you don't have to. This one is a complimentary one, so they don't get charged, whereas the first aid levy is a mandatory charge. So that is added £6, which then gets added to the total on the right hand side. You can set up as many or as few levies as you need. You can add Hoy's levies, which hide it into the price. So if it's a Hoy's levy, it would automatically add it to the price there. So they won't then see the difference in the cost. The first aid ones are all normally shown, but if you don't want them shown, you don't have to. You can hide them in the cost again. It's entirely up to you. The system is just very flexible, so you can quickly and easily add these levies, rules and products into the baskets for the customer. It's also, if you want to do like an offer of buy one get one free, you can do that as well. You can set one up to create, once a specific like a ticket is added to the basket, you get a free like the next day ticket if you want to. It's entirely up to you if you want to do like a bundle. If a certain person's added say 3 or 4 different items to the basket, you can then bundle that up and then add an extra like complimentary ticket as a thank you. So that's really good. You've got a lot of flexibility and ease of use. You can just put these items automatically to add to the basket, and then you can run the report, and then you know who needs to have what sent out to them. So once you can go through the checkout, you can then finish that. But if we go back to continue shopping, we then go to the memberships. So if you want to add a membership, you can set all these different memberships up. You could also got, if you want membership extras, if you want to add them, you can. So if we want to add a vice president membership for Robert Sharp, you can add that to the basket. You can then go into the basket and have a look. And down the bottom, you've got the membership. It says it's waiting for user. So you edit it. And then you can have a look. The system then says, would you like this membership for Robert Sharp, so for yourself if you're buying it, to a linked contact. So if that person has got a linked contact like a wife or a child, they can purchase on their behalf. So have a look, see if they've got any. So you can see that Robert Sharp is married to Jessie Sharp, so he can then purchase a vice president for her. Or you can, if it's for someone else, you can then put the information in there. You can do the relationship type, name and address, and then that will create a contact, and it will also link it back to Robert's contact, so it's a linked contact. So that will then update it, so next time he shops, he can then purchase for that person as well. But in this instance, we're going to say the memberships for Jessie. So that now says the item's ready to purchase. So we can then go through the checkout. We're currently looking to change the checkout because someone mentioned that it's quite a lot of information to go through for this, but it's, at the minute you've got like 5 different stages, just so you can see exactly what's going, where you are on the right hand side. People who just want to buy tickets, we're looking to reduce it so it's literally just a couple of 1 or 2 pages maximum, so they don't drop out and get bored halfway through. That's one of the things we're looking at. So you can see on the right hand side you've got on the left hand side you've got the information that the items that are going to get processed. You've got, if there's any age restrictions, the system will come up. So if you've got like a child ticket in there, the system will say it's an age restricted product, make sure you're purchasing it correctly. If you don't, you could lose the ticket. So if you basically buy a child ticket and an adult tries to go in, they've been warned, so they can't then go to the item and then, or go to the ticket booth and say, oh, I didn't know that, because the system's already warned them. So you can proceed to the payment account or payment address. You can then change which address. If they've got several addresses on their account, you can see which one you need to use, and then go to the payment details. You can let know which ones is available. This screen, if you're as a show user, this is the screen you see. If it's a customer, they'll only see the ones that you're available to see. So if we have a look back at Rose Thomas's account, we can look at the basket. They'll only be able to see, so if we go to checkout, we can quickly go through. If you go to the payment details, see you've got the different addresses. You can change them if you want to change. It automatically updates on the right hand side. See, Rose Thomas will only see it online, so basically this is your payment gateway alone. They cannot see anything else, whereas because you've got the authority, you can then see the different payment methods. Down the bottom, you got, when you're logged in as a show user, you can see if you want to generate an invoice automatically and receipt it as well. You can do either, both, neither, it's up to you. So it saves you a lot of time and effort. You don't then have to go off and raise an invoice. The system will automatically do it for you. You can then review it once you're happy. You can then confirm it. You then get a payment reference box. You don't have to use this if you don't want to, but if you say do a card holder not present, you can then process that through and then put the receipt ID into here. So you can confirm that, and then you can then search on that in the system. Just waiting for your screen to catch up. So yeah, so we're looking to condense this down a bit so you don't have quite so many stages to go through. But it's, at the minute, it's just got the 5 stages, so you just follow it through. So what we can do, we can quickly go back and have a look at the basket and do the final module, which is the tickets. So these are the tickets that are set up on the system. You can set up as many or as few as you need, and then you can add them to the basket. So we've added this basket item to the basket, and you can see that that item is now in there and it's ready to check out because it's just a ticket. It doesn't have any other requirements before it can process through. So yeah, so you can then purchase that one as well. So there's lots of information you can find within the global search and your online portal. So you've got your sponsorship ones, your trade stands, and then your results. So this is your results portal. So once you've got to do the show, you put your results on, you can then go through and find the purchase or publish your classes and your results. So what we can also do within the system, you've got the baskets manager. This is a new addition to the system. You can basically go through and find out all of the baskets that people have got items in, and at the top right hand corner you can then search whether it's waiting the customer, waiting for the show user, say for trade stands and sponsorships. If it's been submitted, it hasn't been accepted, and then any items ready to purchase. So if we have a look and think, right, these products are available to purchase, you can then quickly select them all and then send them an email or a message just saying, you've got these items in the basket, don't forget they're there. If you want to process them, or if you're coming up to your closing dates for your entries, you can quickly send them an email saying, don't forget this item's in your basket, don't forget to check out, and just give them a very gentle nudge. a polite gentle nudge just to say don't forget to complete your basket. It's just a quick way just to keep in contact with customers, give them a reminder, and hopefully get some more entries and money to your show. So it's very quick and simple, but yeah, it could make a big difference to your show if remind people and they don't phone up going, I'll miss the deadline and panicking. You've given them fair enough warning, and if you've done it several emails, they can then come and say, oh, no one told me. You can then save you a lot of hassle and time in the future. Okay, so I think that's the quick overview of adding your module orders. So if we go back to the PowerPoint, so you should then see. So next week we've got the Understanding Orders and Accounts webinar. If you need any help, give us a yell. We want you to be using the system, so if there's anything that's stopping you, just let us know, we can then help. So yeah, so we're at the end of a phone call, just give us a yell. If you've got any questions, does anybody have any questions? If you do, you can use your chat window and then ask any questions. But as I've said, we've got these recorded and we'll send them out to everyone so you can see them if you need to review them again. If you want me to help go through, we can go through, say, on Sandbox, we can then process orders through, add new orders, anything like that, just let us know. I don't think anyone's got any questions. Well, any questions, let me know. Okay, so thank you ever so much for everyone's time for joining us. We know usually time's quite short. But yeah, please let us know if you want any help. We're here to help. We want you to be using the system. So yeah, have a good weekend and see you next Friday. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.